Hello, grade 12 students SE. I'm your English teacher, Mrs. Dima Abdel Samad, and in this recording, I'm going to continue the ideas and the information revealed in Unit 11, Lesson 1. As we can see that Unit 11, Lesson 1 talks about the man who survived 2 nuclear bomb attacks. We've already talked about the lesson in the previous recording, and we have already discussed some of the points. And in this recording, I'm going to continue the lesson to be able to answer the comprehension and the analytical questions. The content of this recording is going to be divided into explaining how a man survived 2 nuclear bombs, showing how he continued his life, inferring why he had chosen that specific way of continuing his life. I'm going to make a summary of the things that we have already discussed in the previous recording, which are found in the previous paragraphs. First of all, the introductory paragraph shows the end of the story, and as we said, it's a flashback. It's called flashback when the writer starts with the end of the story and then he goes back to the events that he passed through. The story starts with the idea that Tsutomi died from stomach cancer, and then it narrates what had happened to him when he passed through 2 nuclear bombs. Also, we've discussed the dramatic event was forgetting his permit pass, which obliged him to go back while his friends continued their way. This was in paragraph 2. So he faced the first bomb, and there were many bad effects shown on him, especially he lost his eardrum, there were many burns on his body, and he became temporarily blind. Then soon he experienced the second bomb. Now I'm going to continue the other paragraphs which we haven't read yet. Paragraphs 6 and 7. Paragraph 6. Which bomb was more dangerous to him? If you read the paragraph, you will see that both bombs were really dangerous, but the first one was more dangerous than the second. Although both bombs exploded near the city centers and both exploded 3 kilometers away from Tsutomi's position, the first one was more dangerous since the second hit in a city which was divided by water or by a river that had prevented the fire damages. So he hasn't been strongly affected by the second one as he was by the first one. In paragraph 7, explain why did he start paragraph 7 with the word surprisingly. He started with this word, of course, to attract the reader's attention towards the productive way that he has chosen to continue his life. So the man who experienced these 2 dramatic events died from cancer after a long time. So just imagine, so the man had experienced the first nuclear bomb and then the second nuclear bomb, and at the end he died by something else, by the stomach cancer. In spite of the psychological trauma that he faced, he got married after the bomb attacks, and he had children who were surprised that their parents had experienced high levels of ionizing radiation. Read paragraphs 8 and 9. Paragraph 8, he and his wife survived the Hiroshima bombs and they both died from cancer. Why did he refuse to register as a survivor of Nagasaki? He thought it would be bad for those million people who were unlucky, but he was able to live a long life after the nuclear bomb. So he died at the age of 93. In paragraph 9, when did he break his silence and why? He actually broke his silence in his 80s. So just imagine, after a long time, he decided to break his silence before his death, and he registered himself as a survivor of the 2 blasts. He did so because he wanted to dedicate his life raising people's awareness against the nuclear weapons and its damages. He wrote many books and poems outlining his experience, so he continued the end of his life in a very productive way. Read the last paragraph, which is paragraph 10. How did he describe himself in the last paragraph? We can consider himself, or he can consider himself as lucky since he could have died at a very young age from one of the 2 bombs. But because he was so lucky, he continued his life, and everything after the two blasts was considered a bonus for him. So that's why he was considered as a lucky person. He survived the two bombs when millions of people were completely damaged and they were killed by these two nuclear bombs. So we can say that that man who had survived the two nuclear bombs and died at the end by stomach cancer is really a lucky person, and that's why he continued his life raising people's awareness about the negative and dangerous effects of nuclear bombs. Now you can answer the comprehension and analytical questions. Thank you.